Thanks to the support as a channel member, Kieran Hodgkinson. Oh, I don't want to alarm anybody, but we are 6 points clear at the top of Ligue 1 and still unbeaten. Hello and welcome to part 93 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the first round of the first leg of the first round of the Champions League knockouts. We're facing Arsenal at home. Got to beat them. And then in the second half of the episode, a massive, massive match when it comes to our aspirations for winning Ligue 1. We go to Paris Saint Germain and try and beat them. Since you were last with me, as you can see, things have been going rather splendidly. Lots and lots of wins, apart from in the Coupe de France quarterfinal. No, it's not even the quarterfinal. Is that the quarterfinal? The quart de finale? It's probably the quarterfinal. We put a rotated team out. It didn't really go to plan. And like I say, it was quite a rotated team that really didn't go to plan. So we've been knocked out of that. That doesn't really matter. Our focus this year, very much on Ligue 1, and then maybe as a long shot, the Champions League. But I mean, my 100% full focus is here, Ligue 1. We may never get an opportunity like this again. 22 games gone. We are still unbeaten. 58 points. Paris Saint Germain, our nearest challengers, but 6 points behind. If we can find a way to beat them in this episode, we go so far clear against a league where really Paris Saint Germain are the only team you would expect to be able to beat us now. That just about confirms the title, even though it's only February, and that would be super duper. We have had the January transfer window as well. We haven't done any more business. Andre Cruz obviously coming in back in January, and he has been an incredible signing. We had that thing where half the squad went off to the African Cup of Nations again. So with Omar away playing in that, Cruz got to spend the whole of January playing as our centre forward, and dare I suggest he might be our best centre forward now. Nguema is about 3 weeks away from being recovered from his ACL tear, so there's going to be decisions to make when Nguema is fit again. At the moment, it's still pretty easy to have Cruz on the right and Omar up front, but this boy can score goals. He's quite good at it. I am keen to encourage him to continue scoring goals. He's scored nearly as many as Erling Haaland, which is quite an impressive feat. Maybe we'll stick Omar out on the right wing. I'm sure he'll love that. The only other business we've done is we have confirmed the permanent signing of Yacine Antoine, who's been here on loan this season from Paris Saint Germain. Kind of established himself as our starting right back when Laurent was injured, and he's just done really well. So for £5 million, we've made that deal permanent. And we're also bringing in on a free transfer in the summer, Benoit Badiashile, 33-year-old French, never played, not an international, hold on, never played an international match for France, despite being a nailed-on starter at Manchester United for, what, 15 years? That's a strange one. I assumed he was a former French international, but apparently he's not. He'll be turning 34 by the time he signs. He's only coming in on a 1-year contract, but at 6'4" with all that experience, it just seemed like a little bit of a no-brainer, especially in a position where we've found it traditionally quite difficult to sign players. I know we've got Dumoulin and Svetkovic back there that we don't really want Badiashile to get in the way of, but he'd be a great mentor for them. So he comes in the summer. But we put all that transfer stuff to one side for now because we have the Champions League to work on. Arsenal are 8th in the Premier League, so you got to believe they are a beatable team, surely. Let's go and beat what should be a beatable team. We've got Magothu in goal, a back four of Simon, Say, Capital and Antoine, Milinkovic at the base of midfield, Fowry and Del Palacio Langer in midfield, and then Benavides and Cruz out wide with Afkir Omar up front. Benavides is only fit to play half a game, but I think with it being the Champions League, it is worth throwing him back in. Manctolo has been playing for the last month or so, and as much as he had that great start to the season, coming off the bench and influencing matches, as a starter, not so much. So I'm hoping by starting Benavides and then swapping them over at half-time, we can get Manctolo out there when everyone else is a little bit more tired and he can use his pace to scare the Arsenal defence a little bit more than maybe he would have done from the start. Plus, Benavides has been here before in the Champions League. He knows how to play in these big games, and fingers crossed, will weigh in with a goal before he has to depart. We want like a 2 or 3 goal win here. in this home leg. If we're serious about making it through to the next round of the Champions League, we've got to win fairly comfortably against a team that are 8th in their domestic league, even if that domestic league is the Premier League. And especially with us being at home in the first leg, we don't want to be scraping through and then having to go to the Emirates and come up with some kind of result, because that's probably quite challenging to do. And we don't really want to be messing around doing all of that nonsense. But it is Arsenal with the goal kick. In fact, it's not. We've won the... Well, it was a goal kick for Arsenal, but it looks like it might be our highlight, although we are faffing around with the ball. It's gone all the way back to Magothu, who launches it up to Benavides, who flicks it on. Omar couldn't quite get there ahead of the defender, and I'm now at that stage where I've got to think, would Cruz have got there? He's a little bit quicker than Omar. Are we hampering ourselves now? Is it nostalgia that we've got Afkir Omar up front? I know he consistently gets like 15, 20 goals a season now, but those days, I mean, he's in there not because of the 15 or 20 goals a season he scores now, but because of the 40 goals he scored in his first season, which is now 5 or 6 years ago. He's just a competent Ligue 1 forward now, whereas Cruz might be a megastar. The amount of goals, he's like 3 years younger than Omar, and I mean, he's lightning quick, and we've seen how many goals he can score if given the opportunity to play up front. And those 11 starts that we looked at, probably only half of them he's played as centre forward for. The other half were him out on the right wing, and he's still averaging more than a goal a game. So I guess the argument there is, if he's scoring at that rate on the right wing as well, we may as well leave him out there and just take the extra goals. Antoine with the cross, looking for Benavides at the far post, squares it to Omar, and it's straight at the goalkeeper. That's a little bit unfortunate. Del Palacio Langer with the corner, looking for that in-swinger, looking for Capital. In fact, it was Say that he was aiming for there, I think. It's going to come all the way back to Del Palacio Langer again, and then once again he gives it to Say, who doesn't do anything with it, and it remains 0-0. Half an hour gone, 32 minutes gone. In fact, we could really use a first half goal here, please, because the longer it stays 0-0, the more worried I am that Arsenal are going to come and grab themselves. They've still got Martin Odegaard in the team. Goodness me. It's like 2035 and Odegaard's still playing for Arsenal. That is some impressive stuff. I haven't even looked at the Arsenal team. Is there anyone else in there that surely should have retired by now? Magothu. This has been more than 5 seconds. Glad we don't enforce that rule anymore. Simon, forward to Langer, who plays the ball over the top try. Man, this is where Omar is at his best. And he's hit the base of the post. That was a good opportunity for us. We have had a couple of decent chances through Omar. They've still got Martinelli in the team as well. Blimey. Goodness me. So they've got Odegaard on the right side of midfield and Martinelli on the left-hand side of midfield. Interesting. Still 0-0. Right. We need a minimum of 2 goals in the second half. We've been the better team. You look at the match stats. We definitely are, I think, right to feel a little bit hard done by that we're not yet ahead in the game. We were supposed to take Benavides off at half-time. You lot were supposed to remind me this is not okay. Manktolo can come on. Hopefully we've not re-broken Benavides. This is his first game back after about a month out injured. There he is, winning the flick on for Omar again. And Langer has burst through. He is against the goalkeeper and runs off doing a chicken dance because he's put us 1-0 up. It's Tor 1. Arsenal nearly runs off towards the storage unit, skips and prison to celebrate, as you would in that scenario. And it is 1-0 to us, and it's a lovely finish from Del Palacio Langer on his weak foot as well. Just dinks it over the goalkeeper. We will carry on with our tactical changes, even though Benavides was instrumental in that goal with that little cushion knockdown header that Manktolo doesn't really have in his locker. He's more about just getting his head down and running at the defenders, which you can see he's desperate to get a run in there now. But it's gone all the way back to Magothu and now Fowry to Antoine and Omar. This is where you can release Manktolo if he can get the pass across to him, but it's actually Fowry who bursts in, and that is a lovely finish from Cyril Fowry. Our 2 central midfielders have stepped up, and that is a perfect finish. He just poked it past the goalkeeper into the bottom of that post, and it bounces across the line, and it's about as perfect a finish as you could hope for from Fowry. And we have gone to, look at that, the goalkeeper is going to be furious. He thinks he's got that near post covered, so doesn't go for it, and it just sort of bends around him and sneaks in. Always going to be cross. Not as cross as the manager, I imagine, for the fact he didn't do a dive. Right, Cruz is tired. So Cruz is going to come off. Labiel Cheraldini can come on that right-hand side. And then we're also going to take off Antoine, and Kevin Laurent can come on there. And that will do for our changes. Of course, we're only allowed to make 3 substitutions in the Champions League. Labiel Cheraldini, we're just going to call him Cheraldini because I can't say his first part of his surname. Cheraldini has been looking pretty good in some of the cup games and rotation matches that we've been playing him in. One of several players to benefit from. It was a good 4 or 5 players were off at the African Cup of Nations. Magothu, Say, Omar. There were probably more. Who else would have not been here? It might have just been that. It felt like there was more than 3. I guess because we had Nguema and Benavides injured at the same time. That was 5 normal starters who were out of the first team picture. And Cheraldini is definitely someone who got to play some football and looked pretty good. We played him in a few different positions as well. He can play central midfield, right wing. He can play up front at a push. And Dusan Milinkovic has just scored an absolute screamer. And through our 3 central midfielders, we have grabbed the 3 goals that we hope to get in this first leg. Tor 3, Arsenal 0. And that should make it a little bit more comfortable to head to England for the second leg and secure a spot in the quarterfinals. This is lovely from Milinkovic. What a goal. And that has, it's been a performance of midfield dominance from our 3 long-serving key players in central midfield. Right, we've now got a game to play off camera, and then we'll be back to Paris Saint Germain. Well, only just scraping past Leyton Orient wasn't really the plan. Does it even count as scraping past them? It was a draw, a 1-1 draw between us and Lorient, made all the better by the fact that Paris Saint Germain lost to Monaco. They've now lost 3 games this season. We go into this match with a 7-point lead over them. Even a draw, I think even a draw probably pretty much secures us the title. Remember, it's only a 34-game season in this league, so only 10 games left after this one. And Paris Saint Germain are the only team I'm really afraid of in the league. We only lost 1 game last year? Was it just the 1 game? We only lost 1 game last year. We're not likely to lose a lot of matches between now and the end of the season. Let's just not lose against Paris Saint Germain. It's an unchanged team. You know the first 11. If they're all fit, this is who we go with at this point. Benavides is still not 100% fit after his injury, despite playing the Arsenal game and the Lorient game. So Manctalo is there to come on as soon as he's needed. And he's training very well. Manctalo is very close to being ready. I think next season we might be in a position where Manctalo is pushing himself past Benavides into a starting role in this team, which would be lovely to see. What's less lovely to see is this hideous Paris Saint Germain team that just terrifies me every time I look at it. And there are only 2 players, according to the Dream 11 screen, there are only 2 players in the league better than Del Palacio Langer, Cayasso and Musiala in central midfield for Paris Saint Germain. I guess it's why Del Palacio Langer and Milinkovic, neither of them got a look in to the Paris Saint Germain team when they were there. On that Media Dream 11 team, they're both shown in the top 5 players in the league now, Langer and Milinkovic. So it shows just how good their midfield 3 is, that our midfield 3, which is the strength of our team, couldn't get in their starting 11. None of them could, which is alarming, really. What's less alarming is the fact that there's been no highlights. I am completely on board with this. I will happily go for an entire match where nothing happens. We don't even need to have a shot on target as long as they don't. I am quite happy with this being a 0-0. Benavides is going to have to come off. That was a pre-planned substitution. And Andre Cruz, I think, is going to have to come off as well. He's tiring. We can bring Roux on for him, who's a left footer. So he's going to have to come out there playing in a slightly different role. We'll get him as the inside forward. And Milinkovic is tiring as well. So Costa, his normal deputy, can come on there. And Laurent can come on for Antoine. Just keep everybody fit and fresh. And we immediately get the first highlight of the game. Have the substitutions even gone through yet? Or is this immediately after the changes and they're all going to be my fault? I can't tell. I think that is Manctalo rather than Benavides. So the changes have happened. And there is Laurent, full of energy. Would Antoine have been able to get back? Probably. But good to see. Full of energy. Costa is probably the weak link in our midfield now. He's not quite of the level of the other 6 that we were talking of between the 3 teams. But I mean, he's certainly a very adequate deputy in central midfield, but not necessarily the man we want to anchor the midfield in a game like this. And that's a rare, poor pass from Del Palacio Langer and gives the ball back to PSG. But Afgir Omar wins it back. Omar one-on-one with Donnarumma and he scores! And that could be such a crucial goal for our title push this season. 72 minutes gone. It's our first kick of the game, our first shot of the game, and it's Paris Saint Germain 0, Tor 1, and it's De Ligt who just dawdles on the ball too long. Omar takes it off him, and I can't believe any of you were questioning Omar. He's obviously still the man, and I mean, that is huge for us. Right, Christopher Robin, get out there. Langer is tiring. We saw that poor pass from him before. Christopher Robin can come on and play the final 10 minutes in central midfield, and we just need to hold on at this point. We just need to kind of hope that PSG don't go and grab 2 goals. I'm still very happy if it ends 1-1. They are really asking our players to take the ball off them by knocking the ball around like this in these little triangles. It's the sort of thing we do, and it terrifies me when we do it. And I mean, there was hope there for as long as they were doing it, but they've actually played the ball out of defence beautifully. And this is an excellent attack from Paris Saint Germain. It's wonderful football. What a goal! I mean, they've just turned it on there and showed us just how good they are, because that was stupendously good. We have no answer to that. I mean, we're capable of stuff like that from time to time. I don't know that we're capable of stopping stuff like that, especially without Milinkovic there as at the base of the midfield. Costa, like I said before, not quite of the same level. But as I've said all along, we'll take a draw. 1-1 leaves us 7 points clear. And we've got a chance here through Cyril Fowry. Free kick from the edge of the area. The homegrown boy. He's one of our own. Can he win us Ligue 1? You all wanted to sell him. I want a Kev told you so t-shirt moment. Oh, that would have been so perfect. Off the crossbar from Fowry. The frustrating thing is I suspect Langer would have scored, but obviously he's not on the pitch anymore. But Langer has scored a few of those this season. Fowry doesn't often even get to take them. And that is a big, big miss. That could be just as crucial as any goal we've scored this season. That big miss at the end, because that maintains our 7-point lead over Paris Saint Germain with 10 games to go. We're still unbeaten and we've played them twice. So not only are we touching distance from winning the league title, we might actually do an invincible season. Is that what it takes to topple Paris Saint Germain? You have to get so good you can pull out an invincible season, because genuinely it's looking like that might be what we have to do to be able to win this league. But we've never been closer and more likely to do it. We'll be back tomorrow for Arsenal. We'll probably do Arsenal and Monaco, unless the next round of the Champions League comes before the Monaco game. I'm not quite sure where that'll fit. I'm assuming we're going to get to the quarterfinal of the Champions League after that 3-0 win over Arsenal. But we'll definitely show you the second leg and figure out what to do for the rest of the episode from there. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Oh, I'm so excited. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.